Like I said, there is a difference between the DOJ and the Supreme Court, obviously. But what I thought was interesting was the Supreme Court differences that I'm going to bring up and I'll emphasize were actually referenced in the Supreme Court section directly to the federal indictment in 2019. So I find this interesting. So I'm going to read the DOJ first, and then I'll go through the Supreme Court file. Okay. Hopefully you guys are completely bored out of your mind by now. Here we go. So justice.gov website. As set forth herein, over the course of many years, Jeffrey Epstein, the defendant, sexually exploited and abused dozens. I want you to emphasize and focus on that word. Sexually exploited and abused dozens of minor girls at his time in Manhattan, New York, Palm Beach, Florida, among other locations. And also I want you to emphasize coming up the years that I'm going to focus on here. In particular, from at least in or about 2002 up to and including at least 2005. So I want to focus on those words because words matter when it comes to basically allegations, accusing, and any sort of prosecution. Like the words, these are transcript words. So they are very, like I said, they have high status in anything that happens legally. So emphasis on dozens of minor girls, and then also the years, at least or about 2002, and including at least or about 2005. All right, just remember those words. So now this is the Supreme Court docket, which the Supreme Court docket is 21-351, the Courtney Wild case. And this references the indictment that I just read from the justice. Like literally it says, I think it's July 2nd, 2019, SDNY indictment. So that's literally the indictment that I just read from. But here's the words, right? The words are different, which is weird. Doesn't make sense to me. Like I said, maybe I just don't know anything about legal. Fine. So it says between 1999 and 2007, which as referenced before, like I said, if this is a direct reference to the justice file says 2002 through 2005. So there's a 6-year gap, right, between 1999 and 2007 on the Supreme Court side and on the justice side in or about 2002 and up to at least or about 2005. Seems a little weird. It's not specific, whereas the Supreme Court is specific. It says between 1999 and 2007. There's a start end date. There's no guessing. There's no in or about. The verbiage is weird, okay? Not saying it means anything. Not saying it's right or wrong. Just saying as a reference from the Supreme Court side to that document, it's weird that the numbers don't match for years. It doesn't match at all, right? So, and also these words, in quotes, mind you, this is in quotes on the Supreme Court docket. Epstein, so quote, Epstein and multiple co-conspirators sexually abused more than 30 young girls, including the petitioner, Courtney Wild. I put the Courtney Wild in there. The petitioner is still in the quotes. In Palm Beach, Florida, and elsewhere in the United States and abroad. So that is the weirdest thing ever because, like I said, it's literally pulling from the justice system file, but the justice system file does not say that. In quotes, it says dozens, which, like I said, for me is an emphasis on less than, right? When you think of dozen, what comes to your mind? Dozen is 12, right? 12, the number 12. So dozens meaning 2, right, would be 24. Okay, fine. So dozens, so say specifically 24 is less than 30. So like I said, I don't know what the emphasis is. I just know that the verbiage is weird that it says dozens when the Supreme Court says in quotes 30 young girls and the years specifically 1999 to 2007. So like I said, just weird verbiage, weird play, but like I said, it doesn't make sense in my mind. But what do I know?